pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Here.
Mr. Franco.
I'm here.
And Mr. Cabrera.
I am here. Before we go on any further, I'm going to do a sound check. Nikki, how we doing? We're doing good? All right, good news. Compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. The notice requirements have been satisfied as to the time, place, and date of holding said meeting by posting notice on the bulletin board here in Borough Hall and by mailing and emailing same to the Herald of Cape May County on October 4th, 2023, and the Crest of Atlantic City on December 13th, 2023. In the event of an emergency, your emergency exit is the door that you came in, our back left, your back right, our front right, or your front left, just by the American flag. A couple quick announcements. This meeting is being shown live today here on the Borough's Facebook page and also the Borough's YouTube channel. If in the event you're watching this meeting and you would like to ask a question to the governing body or make a public statement, you're going to dial the access code 888-363-4734, and when prompted, you're going to enter the access code 9699020, followed by the pound or the hashtag. In the event you watch the recorded version of this meeting and you have questions or you would like to make a statement, you're more than welcome to contact our clerk@wildwoodcrest.org, or phone her at 609-729-8040. Madam Clerk, we have one ordinance on the agenda for this evening.
Yes, sir. It is ordinance 1421 for adoption regarding construction fees.
Motion that ordinance 1421 be placed on second reading and final passage by title only.
Second that?
It has been moved and seconded that ordinance number 1421 be placed on second and final reading by title only.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Ordinance 1421 reads as follows. An ordinance of the Borough of Wildwood Crest, amending and supplementing the Code of the Borough of Wildwood Crest, Article 1, Uniform Construction Code of Chapter 22, amending fees for permits.
Motion that public hearing now be held on ordinance number 1421.
Second?
Been moved and seconded that a public hearing on ordinance number 1421 now be held.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes. Floor is open for anyone here in the audience on ordinance number 1421. Anybody? Anyone on the conference line have any public comments on ordinance number 1421? Hearing none?
Motion that a public hearing on ordinance number 1421 now be closed.
Motion that?
I need a second, sir.
Second, I mean.
It has been moved and seconded that a public hearing on ordinance number 1421 now be closed.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Motion that ordinance number 1421 be passed on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
I will second it this time.
It has been moved and seconded that ordinance number 1421 be passed on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next, we have the resolutions. The first is authorizing a professional services contract with Michael A. Jadziniak of Skorinsky Hollenbeck as special counsel for COA-related matters for calendar year 2024.
I'll motion that.
I will second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is establishing the salaries for the 2024 stipend agreements.
Motion?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing advertisement of a notice to bidders for landscaping services.
Motion?
I will second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing advertisement of a notice to bidders for portable toilets.
Motion?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing participation in the ACM GIF Safety Incentive Program for 2024.
Motion?
I will second.
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing borough engineer work order for engineering costs for for the fiscal year 2024 NJDOT Municipal Aid Reconstruction of Toledo Avenue at the not-to-exceed sum of $130,000.
Motion.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call, Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing Borough Engineer work order for fiscal year 2023 NJDCA Small Cities Program Municipal Building Bathroom Renovations at the not-to-exceed sum of $60,000.
Motion.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call, Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing award of emergency contract to Xylem Water Solutions USA for a new pump motor on Topeka Avenue in accordance with NJSA 40A:11-6.
Motion.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call, Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing the appointment of 3 Class 1 police officers.
Motion.
I will second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call, Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is supporting the authorization of the fiscal year 2024 Local Recreation Improvement Grant application funded by the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs.
Motion.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call, Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing special events permit to JLD Event Management and Timing LLC and co-sponsoring the official Wildwood Crest Run event taking place on October 5th, 2024, and granting a non-exclusive limited license to use service marks.
I'll motion that.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call, Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco. Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing an emergency temporary budget for 2024.
Motion.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call, Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing the appointment of Stephanie Alicia to fill a vacancy as a member of the Wildwood Crest Tourism Commission commencing immediately and expiring December 31st, 2025.
Motion.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call, Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Abstain.
And Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing expenditure to purchase beach boxes for the beach under state contract.
Motion.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call, Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Lastly is authorizing award of professional services contract to Colliers Engineering and Design for services in conjunction with a preliminary traffic and pedestrian evaluation, various streets and locations for Task 1 at the not-to-exceed sum of $2,000.
Motion.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call, Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Motion that all bills properly authorized as submitted be paid.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that all bills properly authorized as submitted be paid. Roll call, Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Motion that all reports received from the court administrator, chief financial officer, tax collector, chief of police, supervisor for the recreation department, construction official, emergency services coordinator for the EMS, and Wildwood Crest Volunteer Fire Company for the month ending December 31st, 2023 be accepted as presented.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that all reports received from the court administrator, chief financial officer, tax collector, chief of police, supervisor for the recreation department, construction official, emergency services coordinator for the EMS of the Wildwood Crest Volunteer Fire Company chief for the month ending December 31st, 2023 be accepted as presented. Roll call, Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Motion that all minutes from the commission meeting dated December 20th, 2023 and January 2nd, 2024 be approved as presented.
Second that.
It has been moved and seconded that all minutes from the commission meetings dated December 20th, 23 and January 2nd, 2024 be approved as presented. Roll call, Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
And Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Thanks, Trish.
You're welcome.
Okay, that brings us to correspondence. Do we have our fine young gentleman with us here this evening? All right. Officer Logan Burke, Officer Chris Johnson, and Officer Robert Ferguson. It's time for your initiation.
Like the outside.
I know.
I don't think so.
Come on over, chief. My favorite part. Guys look good.
Thank you, sir.
You look scared. You're gonna be just fine. So,
Real quick, I'd just like to say a few things. First of all, thank you all for coming. This is a very good day for Wildwood Crest and the Wildwood Crest Police Department. We got 3 outstanding young men. They just graduated the academy on January 12th. They did an amazing job. I do have to recognize Officer Ferguson. He did receive the PT award, scored 100% on the PT test, which is pretty amazing. So, but all 3 of them did a fantastic job. We are so happy to have these outstanding young men, these local young men. They're going to do a great job for us, and we're really excited to see what they can do and have them out there for you guys, for our public, for the citizens and visitors of Wildwood Crest. So it's a good day. I'd like to thank the governing body, Mayor Cabrera, Commissioner Franco, and Commissioner Schiff. It's really, and also Administrator Mann. It's a really good day, and without further ado, Commissioner Schiff's going to swear in our new officers.
Commissioners, gonna come, Mayor, coming up, stand with us?
Go ahead, we'll get a
Come
picture
on,
after.
we'll do it.
All right.
You're all part of the family here.
It's all good.
Look at that.
Sir,
Ferguson?
you doing Ferguson first? Mom? I'm not All right, so I'll do this easy. When I say state your name, you'll state your name, and I'll do it slow so you got all the words. All right, I,
Right hand goes up.
right hand up, there you go. State your name.
I, Robert Ferguson,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of the office of police officer.
all the duties of the office of
Police officer.
police officer,
Sorry, I gave you too many words. According to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability,
And I do solemnly swear
and I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the governments
in
established
the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. That's it. Unless he wants to do it again. Christopher?
Thank you.
Mom and Dad?
How you doing?
Sir? I remember you were there.
Could you also, can you turn a little bit so that you're facing that way?
I'm sorry. Just don't get my bald spot. All right. I state your name.
I, Christopher Johnson,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly perform
impartially, and justly perform
all the duties of the office of police officer
all the duties of officer or police officer
according to the best of my ability. Sorry.
according to the best of my ability,
And I do solemnly swear
and I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations, sir.
And I thank
Congratulations. And we have one more.
Logan.
How was that? Is that better? Where is she?
No, but okay.
How do you want me to stand? I'm gonna stand right there. Hold it.
You're fine, just the way you are, Commissioner. You're fantastic. You're good, you're perfect. Got this right here.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I want a piece of that. I, state your name,
I, Logan Burke,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly perform
impartially, and justly perform
all the duties of the office of police officer,
all the duties of the office of police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability,
And I do solemnly swear
and I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and alliance to the same,
and alliance to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
At this time, why don't we take some pictures? Family,
Congratulations.
welcome to the family, guys. And have you, want to stand up here?
Family wanna come up and get some pictures?
Was that better, Denise? 'Cause-
You're fantastic.
Thank you. Got me scared. Okay,
One at a time?
Yeah, one at a
Yeah.
time, real quick. Ferguson. Just gonna tell people where to go now. Yeah, I am, actually, yes. Do, Cole.
Listen, she had to make command decisions for us today, she's carrying that through the rest of the day.
It's ridiculous. Commissioner Chef. Can you just say I'm not doing it?
I'm very used to this, trust me.
Did three. Back
The
in.
chief of the commissioners and
We have Mark inside.
captain.
We will be doing one big picture too.
Go ahead. Oh, gosh, she gets next to me, I'll let go. Thanks, Mom.
Well, I'll go over there.
Come,
Yeah, I'm coming.
Aw. Perfect.
I love you too.
Thank you so much. Of course. We're proud of all of these girls.
Do you wanna? Us with them real quick?
Yeah, yep.
Aw. Alright, you guys gotta get up there. One more.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Cap. We might have to,
Here,
Get tight.
Denise,
you get in the back.
you guys, how's that?
Thank you.
Yep. Do you need the other one moved?
You're the tall one in the middle. One on each side.
Nah, take your ass off.
Bring it in, now take them off.
I gotta get next to someone short.
Here we are.
Better be good, Cole.
The wrong photographer. Gentlemen, thank you. Glad to have you aboard.
All right.
Here's the hit.
You guys
All right.
Listen to him over there. Burr's already got him signing up for Ironmans.
You need more? No,
It's
that's
fine.
good, right? Yeah, thank you.
All right.
That was great.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll give everybody a couple minutes. If anybody wants to leave the meeting, by all means, you don't have to stay for the rest of the fun.
Run.
We're not offended.
You can.
We're not offended.
I should probably move that back in case there's public comment. I moved mine out.
It's fine.
You
Fine.
good?
We don't need to move it.
I got it.
It's cozy.
It's on wheels.
It's cozy like this.
I moved to the table, I thought you meant that.
Yeah, okay.
You're welcome. Congratulations, you guys.
You good? You need another one? You need there because you need it. I stopped coughing finally, and I'm sleeping through the night. Yeah, finally. But now I'm blood in my sinuses. Yeah, I'm the golden quorum. Yeah. It was so crowded this year, you wouldn't even believe it. Who believed it? It was nuts. I've never seen it like that.
Okay, and this meeting is adjourned.
You said it. All in favor? It must be. Tease me, Don.
So you got.
Yep, to land this plane.
Yep. All right.
Okay, moving right along. Brings us to the first responders report. We'll start with Chief Lloyd.
Again, governing body, I'd like to thank you. Those are three outstanding young men, and they really are going to do a great job for us, so I appreciate your support with that. Okay, so for the month of December, we responded to 1,042 calls for service. We conducted 142 criminal investigations, 223 service calls, including alarms, citizen assists, fires, medical assists, school-related activities, and utility complaints. We conducted 105 motor vehicle stops with 14 traffic summonses issued, 93 warnings. There were 2 motor vehicle accidents. We did 307 property checks, 225 hours of training, and we had 8 arrests, 8 adult, 2 DWI. And that is my report, unless the governing body has any questions for the public.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you.
Good. Thanks, Chief.
Thank
All right, that brings us to Mr. Neal. Fire safety.
This is Mike's debut.
Thank
My first debut, thank you.
This is your first
Hello,
one.
everybody. Keep it pretty simple. This is the year-end report for the Fire Prevention Bureau. We had, we conducted 3,137 non-life hazard inspections. We did 998 re-inspections for a total of 3,337 inspections for non-life hazards. On the life hazards, we did 62. We did 76 re-inspections. We billed out $33,107. We collected $18,000. We only get 65% back, which is would be $21,519.55. On our non-life hazard billing, we billed out $164,156. We collected $149,852. We waived fees for properties that would be changed over from not renting to owner occupied, and those fees were $6,300.60, or $6,360. We issued 64 permits. Fees collected were $3,240. Our smoke certs were $5,440. Penalties issued were 45 for a total of $9,989 for a total revenue of $183,395.87.
Yes,
Sir, and that was for the year.
Congratulations on your first one.
Yeah.
Huh?
Congratulations on your first report.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, EMS, Mr. Cripps.
Good evening, everybody. Year ending for 2023, our calls for service were 1,223. And for December's runs, we had 72 calls for service. 32 of them were transports, 15 were fire standbys. Public safety assist, we did 7, and patient refusal were 17. And we currently have members attending the ASIM, which is Active Shooter Incident Management course, as well. And we have placed our 2024 F-250 4x4 into service as emergency response as a first responder vehicle for mutual aids, fire ground rehabs, rescue task force assignments through the county, as well as MCIs, most casualty incidents. So that's all I report. If anyone has any questions, comments, concerns, you can all criticize too. So.
Great job.
Good.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Cripps. All right, first round of public comments. We'll start with anybody here in the audience. Just need you to come up to the podium and give your name only.
Okay, good evening. My name is Steve Tarnowski. I have property at 5401 Lake Road. And I've been coming to these off and on probably for 18 months now. And I have 2 questions regarding the flooding back on Lake Road. First question, I'm aware that the sewer project kind of was bidded out and is progressing just for the improvement to the sewer system. I just wanted to kind of understand an update to that part of the project for the first, I guess, 4 end of sewers or putting new gates in at the end of the block for the discharge.
Yeah, so it's, the bid specifications are under design. We're actually gonna talk briefly about that under old business.
Okay,
Couple of things we need to work through, but to your point, yeah, there is valves along all of the street ends that are gonna be installed for each one of them. I think there's a total of 17 total.
okay, I was under the impression the first 4 were gonna get done in the fall, this past fall, and then, you know, progress as that happens.
Well, so you have to, so everything flows gravity fed. So if we're gonna go out to bid,
Right,
it's better to have one contractor to do the entire job as
Okay.
opposed to having one contractor do 4 and then
Right.
possibly another one doing 13. And then we have the bulkheads too. That's all a part of the bigger picture as well.
right, so just from a broad time scheme, when do we think that's actually gonna happen?
I would, so the estimation I would say would be, so first, there's a lead time on these valves.
Mm-hmm,
And I'll get into some of that now. So the valves, just so in your area, the size of the piping there is 36 inches, which is really, really big. So
lets up a lot of water into the street.
So
I'm
then,
aware.
so that will also be diverted down to 24-inch to a 24-inch valve and piping that goes with that. And then everything south of you will also get the same 24, would also get, this is all conceptual, I'm talking about.
Right, trying to
But-
standardize it, I
So,
understand.
so 24, so 24 inches. So that said, we have that specification, we have some funding concerns that we need to discuss internally. And then we also have to finish the bid specifications, which also ties into the bulkheads, because originally the bulkheads, we didn't think that they were leaking through the actual bulkhead itself. So the bulkheads are not waterproof, so we're going to, at the same time, raise those bulkheads up to 8 feet. Conceptually, again,
Right,
this is all subject
right,
to
I
us
followed
approving.
that too, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I would project, and in parallel with all of what I just said, we have a FEMA grant application in for potentially adding at least 2 pump stations, 1 or 2 pump stations. And that, if we are awarded that money, that will change the design of that whole project. So,
Right.
and that decision, I'm advised, would be sometime before the summer, right?
In the summer,
In the summer.
June-ish.
So the specification is gonna continue to be developed. I would estimate to be going out to bid at some point during the summer, once we have the information about the grant. If we don't get it, then we know what we need to do. If we get it, then we know what we need to do. That said, I would say just start seeing, there's some permitting that has to go along with that project. And ballpark, I would say, once funding is in place, it's gonna start sometime in the fall.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
My second question is regard to the property across the street from me, 5401 Lake Road. They and I sent pictures to Commissioner Franco. Just a catastrophic event this past week or 2 weeks ago. That, I mean, the water was coming in buckets, and there's ordinances now. I forwarded the ordinance at 17.5. Now there's a new ordinance at 17.7 that talks about the duty to maintain and repair your bulkhead. I just want to understand what's being done to take care of this. It's a catastrophic problem, and it's routine at this point. Floods 2 blocks in every direction, impacts people's houses, impacts people's cars, impacts the infrastructure that we're talking about right now, whether it be sewers or water lines. I know Wildwood Water was out along Cressy across the street because those water mains are rotting for those people, and I'm sure if it's on their side of the water main, they're gonna pay for it. So this is just unbearable at this point.
So to your point, so the ordinance is in place, as you said.
Right.
So the municipality will need to document, timestamp, if you will, the actual flooding coming over it, and then that will be used in a citation to the particular property owner, and then the property owner will eventually wind up in court to having to make the.
So Joe has all that.
Okay, so.
Joe has the videos, the timestamp. I asked him to send out the police or the engineer to timestamp all that. I mean, you gotta go out in waiters. I understand there's a little hesitation there.
Yes.
But it's fully documented.
So I will say to you, so I would say that because of the sensitivity now of the matter of it potentially moving in that direction with the borough taking an actual position, I'm gonna, probably we're not gonna be able to share too much of the details, but
Right.
just know that it is being worked on from our end.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Anybody else? Public comments? Anybody on the conference line have any public comments? Hearing none, we're gonna move right to the administrator's report.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. Beach End bump outs, Rambler and North. We're now moving on to our last phase. The bid opening for this final phase of beach entranceway improvements will take place on January 31st, 2024. This portion of the project will address the beach ends north of Rambler and include foot showers, benches, and widened entranceways. All of this is previously permitted, and we're starting to move on that, and that bid will be open on the 31st. The Crest Arts Pavilion, Fred Chavone, has commenced construction. As you can see right now, everything has been demolished. We have topsoil being put in, and this exterior improvement project is mostly funded by the Cape May County Open Spaces and is expected to be completed by mid-May. 2 EV fast chargers are incorporated into bikeway and coastal enhancements for this project. There actually will be 4 heads on the 2 charging stations, so there'll be a total of 4 spots for fast charging, which is the roughly 20-minute charge. Hereford Inlet to Cape May Inlet Beach and Dune construction. We recently met with the Army Corps project manager and our local partners at the NJDEP Coastal Engineering to discuss the timeline for this project. It is anticipated that this project will in fact take place in 2025. The borough has no cost share for this coastal storm protection project, and we are now at a point where we must start to work on easements for the Barrow area and the Dune construction area. Our solicitor will be working closely with the DEP to get those easements filed. New Jersey Avenue, I spoke to Bob Church, the county engineer, yesterday. He informed me that he did receive the requested funding, which is federal funding and state funding, for this roadway project, and he'll be reaching out to set up a meeting with us sometime next week to start planning for our infrastructure improvements, which will need to take place prior to the downsizing and road diet for New Jersey Avenue in 2025 to 2026. Sunset Lakes State Channel dredging. Mobile dredging has commenced dredging work in the state's channels throughout the Wildwoods. All indications are that work is moving along well. The dredge is currently, one of the dredges is currently mobilized in the most northern portion of the channel in North Wildwood. You'll see it as you enter into North Wildwood on the right-hand side, and they are progressing well. CAFRA applications. Lomax Consulting is currently working on 10 individual permits for the upcoming bulkhead project that Don and Mr. Tarnowski were just speaking of. He is also working with Neil Yaskin on our ADR, which is alternate dispute resolution, on a different matter. Bayside Pump Station Flood Mitigation Project, we have made application for $12 million to FEMA for flood mitigation assistance, which is a BRIC program. This project, if funded, would include 2 pump stations and all the necessary piping that would be involved. Washington Avenue Flood Mitigation Project, we did apply for a FEMA grant to FMA grant to FEMA for this. This area was previously studied by Mark's office, and recommendations from that study made for the basis of mitigation efforts incorporated into this application, and that will also involve a pump. Federal fiscal year 2023 Small Cities Grant, we have authorized our engineer now to proceed with his design and bidding of the renovations of the bathroom here in the municipal building. As previously reported, our Small Cities application was approved in the amount of $342,000 roughly. Cape May County Local Road Safety Plan. It's called an LSRP. It, in cooperation with the South Jersey Transportation Planning Organization, the county is coordinating with local municipalities to identify and prioritize strategies and actions to reduce fatal and serious injury crashes on our county and local roadways. I've been serving on the steering committee and have attended all the meetings to provide input on behalf of the borough, which has had 2 fatal serious crashes from 2017 to 2020, and just another unfortunate incident in the past few years. We are currently working on developing a 5-year plan with a goal to significantly reduce the number of deaths or injuries by 2050, and it is anticipated that our goal would be to reduce that by 50%. I sent out a survey that the borough's public safety officials should review and complete, and that would be for our streets and hot spots that we have in our own town. Our next meeting is scheduled for March, and I'll keep you up to date on this initiative as we move along. I have information on it if anybody needs it. That's all.
Thank you. Got anybody, any questions for our administrator?
Connie, could you just give, regards to the dredging part,
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that the Wildwood and North Wildwood are getting their project
Mhm.
done. But I'd like to see if maybe you can give a shout to Scott Douglas.
Sure. Yeah, I do
Yeah.
contact him every 3 weeks, roughly. Our project, Phase 2, is supposed to be right now. It's still in the acquisition phase for purchasing an area to establish a confined disposal facility, a CDF. And though I will try to get an update on that, although I haven't really gotten a whole lot of information, just that they're still in that process.
Yeah,
But I will ask for an update.
We can wake him up from his
Sure.
winter slumber.
Absolutely. No problem. I'll do that tomorrow.
Thank you.
Public, any questions for our administrator? Conference line, anybody? All right, we're gonna move right to the engineer's report.
Thank you, Mayor. The contractor for the reconstruction of Orchid Road is now scheduled to start the week of January 29th, which is next week. We were hopeful that he would have started 2 weeks ago, but the weather hasn't been conducive, so he will start on Monday and proceed through the spring and early summer to finish that project. The contractor for the Beach Patrol headquarters renovation has remobilized to the site and continues to work on the roof structure and siding. We're on track. The contractor for the Crest Arts Pavilion has started work the week of January 15th with demolition, ordered materials, etc., and that project is proceeding on schedule. Next one, as Connie had mentioned, the bid opening for the Beach Street and Public Access Improvements Phase 3 project. That bid opening is scheduled for January 31st at 10 a.m. Bearing any unforeseen issues, that project should be completed in time for the summer. As previously mentioned, the Bayside bulkhead replacement and flood mitigation project is now 70% complete.
We're waiting for permits, and we've advised the borough of the additional cost related to the valving improvements north of Astor. So you have decisions to make in terms of funding, but we're continuing to proceed with the design. Lastly, we did submit the borough's flood mitigation resiliency funding request to Congressman Van Drew's office on December 28th. So that is in the Congressman's hopper to help push on the borough's behalf to fund 2 storm sewer pump stations and associated piping. On the Bay side, that's about a $12 million project. So we're putting every poker in the fire to help the borough get money to offset costs over there. And that's my report.
Thank you. Gary Bonnie, any questions for Mr. de Blasio?
Thanks, Mark. Oh, good, Mark, thank you.
Public, any questions for Mark?
Yeah, Mark, where would the pump stations be located? Just,
So that's a really good question. They are shown conceptually as circles in strategic spots, but the details of where they would be located would be subject to the commissioner's final selection and comments.
would they be kind of the same ones that are Rio Grande over there, like just in
No.
design or smaller?
No, so, well,
Okay.
so if there's real estate,
Right,
then there'll be a pump house and it'll look a certain way.
right.
If there's not real estate, it could be a subsurface pump station in the street end with a location for the mechanicals and power to be located somewhere
Right.
up.
Remote.
So there's a lot of moving pieces to that decision that they would make. Hopefully, I'm in a position to professionally annoy them to make that decision when they get $12 million.
Right,
That's
exactly.
really,
Good.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Questions for Mr. de Blasio? Conference line, anybody? Okay, hearing none, we're gonna go to, we have another round of public comments before we move into discussion items. Anybody? Public comments? Okay, first thing under new business, the floodplain ordinance. Madam Clerk, correct me if I'm wrong, we had some revisions and the state, reviewed it. It's
No,
now
we have
ready for potential introduction at one of our upcoming meetings.
Correct.
And I guess the question is does anybody have any questions as we work through this? If not, then are we ready to introduce this at perhaps the next meeting?
I would be fine with that, Mayor.
Good?
February 7th.
All right, February 7th, we'll do an introduction for that. This is to be in compliance with state requirements.
Correct.
All right, planning board fees. Trish has circulated a draft of the ordinance. Basically, the fees haven't been changed since, I think it was like 2007, right, roughly 17 years ago. So there's some recommendations from the planning board
Correct.
to increase the fees. If everybody's okay with that fee structure, we would possibly do that at the next meeting as well. I look at it, I have no issues.
No issues either. Thank you.
Good?
Good.
We're good. All right, February 7th, building up to be a big meeting. All right, under old business, concession agreement, that was on hold. Traffic calming, we had the phase 1 introduced for this evening for the engineer. Back beach excavations on hold pending the Army Corps. Dredging, I think we talked about under the administrator's report. New Jersey Avenue infrastructure pre-county, we heard in the administrator's report that the county is moving forward for 2025 to 2026. The borough has infrastructure work that it needs to do before the county starts, so that is a subject for a future capital project discussion. Public Works roof, we are waiting for Czar Engineering to give us, so there's 3 roofs, Public Works roof, the flat roof at the pool, and the Crest Pier roof under a state cooperative purchasing agreement. We're just trying to figure out, so the Public Works actually is falling down to a lesser priority as opposed to the pool roof and the Crest Pier roof that are actively taking on water. So there's some funding issues that we would need to address there as well. Bayside outfalls capacity bulkhead replacement. So we touched on that earlier, so just so I could have some ongoing dialogue on this. We talked about the piping issue on the northern end of this project. 36-inch piping is going to be diverted down to the 24 inches. So there's so if we did all 17 of those of the valves and the actual piping, we're gonna run short on dollars to do the bulkheads as well. So in an internal capital discussion and project, I think Connie had summarized it along with Francine in an email, just to kind of put it out there, is that we're gonna need some additional funding. The current project has about $2.5 million of funding in place. We're gonna need more money to do the entire project. And as I indicated earlier, the valves will have the biggest impact on reducing the flooding in these areas. The bulkheads are also in some areas leaking through, and they're outdated, and there's like 3 layers of bulkheads that need to be replaced as well. I'm of the position that if we're gonna go out to bid, we need to do the entire project and not have contractors, different contractors potentially tripping over each other, because this is a large scale, very detailed project. And at the same time, we have this FEMA grant, which we're advised that we have a good chance of getting, that the best way to reduce the flooding is, per our engineer, and I don't mean to put words in your mouth, Mark, but is these pump stations will actually is the best way to go about reducing the flooding and addressing in these areas. So that decision will be made in July. If we don't get the grant, then we're still looking at valves and bulkheads, which requires more money. And internally, we discussed waiting till after we adopt the budget before we introduce the funding for that project to go out to bid in the summertime and then be able to start in the fall. Correct me if I'm wrong. Go ahead, fire away.
And just to add to, part of the component of that project is taking the street ends from, say, like Lake Road to the bulkhead, or Park to the bulkhead. And those roads typically cock towards the bulkhead. We're gonna be reconstructing those roadways to raise them. So if you're a property owner on that corner, after we get done coordinating with you and raising those roads to the maximum extent possible, we're hopeful that that is another technique that would allow people to maybe get out of their houses properly. So I'm not guaranteeing that flooding wouldn't be there, but it's gonna help. So if we can get the roads up anywhere from 6 inches to 1.5 feet, that'll be another redundant, resilient measure to help mitigate the inconvenience. So.
Okay, got anybody? I know it's a lot to digest, but anybody have any comments on the plan, potential plan, any revisions, any suggestions, any comment, whatever? We just need to get this thing to the finish line.
Well, that's the goal, but I think our community has to understand that with all this work being done, we're still gonna get water coming in some way or another. So I love the optimism, I wanna get it done. I think the valves are extremely important to be put in, whatever we decide though.
Okay, Commissioner?
I'm just hoping that we get some sort of relief from FEMA, but I'm staying optimistic on that, so hopefully we can get that.
Thank you.
This time we added a layer to that by going to the congressman and asking for their assistance as well. So hopefully we have a better shot this time.
Okay, all right, Washington Seaview, I believe we have that application in as well. We're just waiting to hear back from Mr. Rotola on that. Okay, I think that covers anything under old business. Commissioners, you have anything?
I just wanna thank the commissioners for allowing us to swear in 3 new officers, and we're gonna constantly try to make ourselves better, and it's a big help. I know it helps the chief. And we, and Public Works did a great job with the flooding and everything else too.
Thank you.
And the salting, I appreciated that. Helped out the school a lot with the parking lot.
All good, Mayor, I'm fine.
All good? Anything I have is February 3rd, 10:30 at the Crest Arts Pavilion. We have our Champions of Wellness event going there. So if you're looking for some lunch and recognize some of the folks that are here in Wildwood Crest for their wellness efforts, come on out. Okay, so I believe we have a closed session on the agenda for this evening.
Correct, so we are authorizing executive closed session in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, specifically NJSA 10:4-12B, with regard to one issue, contract negotiations for the IAFF. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second, Trish.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call, Mr. Schiff?
Yes.
Mr. Franco?
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera?
Yes, all right, we're gonna take a 3-minute recess before we move into closed session. Thank you, everybody, for coming.